Okay, hello everybody. Let me find some tunes I can just kind of have in the background here. Sorry about any delay there. Well, there's always a delay. You're used to that, right? Nothing new. Nothing new. Part of the reason I wanted to demonetize my channel is because I got tired of getting like the notifications for like, oh, you're playing songs you're not supposed to, and all this shit. And I'm like, tired of getting that, and I don't make any money on fucking YouTube, so fuck that noise. Anyway. Here, I've got something good here. Uh, that works. All right. So what am I doing today? Well, it's empty or head empty Thursday, so it usually means nothing in particular. So if you were here expecting some stimulating conversation, it might occur, it might not. I'm not sure. It just kind of depends on who decides to jump on and say anything, if they decide to jump on and say anything, or if somebody says something of interest in chat, various things of a similar nature. That is how anything of interest may or may not happen. So, I actually woke up with a lot of energy, which is surprising. Let's see here. I think I got caught up on my sleep, which is then going to the gym is always nice. Let's see here. Alright, so yeah, as usual, Head Empty Thursdays is when I don't want to bring anything to the table myself. You look so different, Cuddle, like a real human being with real emotions and feelings. Really, Shadow? That's what you have to say? Say that to me. We have to do this again? Because I'll do this again, you son of a bitch. No, I'm good. But as I was saying, yeah, I just kind of let whoever wants to bring something to the table, bring it to the table, and we just go from there. It could be something about schizoid stuff, it could be about mental health stuff, it could be about, I don't know, whatever, I don't care. As long as I find it stimulating to talk about, I will. If I don't, I won't talk about it, and I'll probably tell you I'm bored. So, I mean, if you're any schizoids out there, you're probably not that worried about, oh, Angst didn't like what I wanted to talk about. Like, you'll get over it. But honestly, I'm pretty interested in most things. My brain has this way of like finding whatever novelty it can squeeze out of anything put in front of me. So I'll find something interesting. I don't know. Contemplate in there. Or on my brain, I guess. Oh, music's a little loud, huh? I'm quieter than the music? Yeah, that's why I just turned. I don't know why I be like that sometimes. Sometimes I be hella quiet. Better now? Oh, that's good. I'm bringing anything to the table. Describe the table. Okay, the table is mahogany. It has a gray lace tablecloth that doesn't go over the edges, just kind of right over the top. Almost like a really large daisy, but that's in the shape of the table. And then there are candles, bronze, with hold on one second. Oh, that was supposed to be my daughter coming down here. Giving me a good night, but she's apparently acting up a lot. So I'm running around screaming. Wait, she made me all. You're in a bad mood?
Don't talk.
Oh man, did you hear her? Yeah, she's like, oh, what? I was like, why are you grumpy? She was like, don't talk to me, but she still wanted me to give her a hug and kiss goodnight. Pretty funny. Anyway, so yeah, table, see here, bronze, you know, candle hold, black candles with a red wick, and only one seat at the dead center, but of the long ways, and the chair is of the same kind of wood, and there's a pile next to the candle. There's a pile of undulating maggots. Yes, and on top, under that pile, is my severed head. So there we go. A lot of protein. A lot of protein. All right. Okay. So, all right. I'll switch over to. Let me see here. I don't even know if anybody's actually here yet or not. Oh yeah, we got the usual guy that likes to show up on Thursdays. Hold on. Wait, I think it's still in my browser, huh? Let me see. Oh no, it's not even there at all. Let me see. Link. Let's be browser. I want to browser. Nope. That's my set. Nope, I don't want that either. Definitely don't need that. Nobody needs to see my Steam bullshit. Alright, hold on. This thing's just giving me problems. Because I'm an old boomer that doesn't know how to do anything right, so please forgive. Ah, there we go. Found it. Why is it so big? It's crazy. It's too big. I'm going to be changing the theme up here pretty soon on my... How do I put this under that? I am going to be putting a new theme over everything. I got bored of the old one I had with the Spooky's Haunted Maze or whatever the fuck. So I'm going to try something different. In any case, I wish I could just like get rid of my box. Why does my box have to be in there too? If it was video, it would like let me get rid of my video. But I'd have to like crop it, but then it changes. You know, that's annoying. Anyway. So, what's up, Saintist?
Up.
I said, speak up, son.
Speak up, yeah. Yeah, there's a few topics I had
Sure.
in my notes
right.
here. We could One is like transference. Like I don't feel like
Uh-huh.
if I experience transference, I don't feel like it's as much as normal people experience.
Wait, oh, transference. Okay.
Yeah.
What's transference? Transfer. You know what I heard? I heard trans friends. Because I have a few of those too. So like, you know what I mean? Like I heard
Yeah.
trans friends. I'm like, oh, what about them? Okay, but transference. Okay. Um, what exactly about what about transference? Do you want to?
Well, like do schizoids experience transference at least as much as normies?
Um,
Do you think?
I obviously you're the knee jerk is to be like no, right? Um, but when it comes to like having a conversation with a person and the person's intimating something to you that is, you know, difficult or harrowing or something, probably not. No. Um, that would be kind of like, you know, falling into that sort of that kind of less fine-tuned affective empathy, right? But I have noticed personal experience and I've talked, you know, when I talk to other schizoids, there is a sort of emotional transference that occurs between schizoids and uh, what would technically be inanimate objects.
Hmm.
So I don't even know if that would be a transference. Like, for example, a book, right? So if there's a certain level of emotionality in a piece of literature, I think a schizoid has a much easier time picking up and like having some of the emotions in that bleed into them. And I think that's probably because a schizoid would have a much easier time getting external data or information that isn't a person that has emotional content, and they can more safely internalize it. If that makes any sense, because it's not a
Yeah.
person. So, so if there's if something's well written and it evokes emotion, it was made to evoke emotion. It might not be because of the same. It might not even be the emotion that the author intended necessarily, but they might because I've heard a lot of schizoids talk about experiencing things more deeply through proxy. So whether that's watching someone else experience something, so it's almost like, you know, you're not there, you're not actually interacting with anybody, you're watching someone else experience something. That can sometimes work. Also, um, like I said, characters in various forms of media experiencing things. Um, that's an easier way to sort of feel emotional experiences by proxy in a different way. Especially like if you feel, I don't know, if you become invested in a set of characters in a book or a movie or a TV series or an anime or whatever the fuck medium you like, and then you follow that, and then good things happen to that person after a lot of hardship and struggle. Like, you might get a whiff of that, like feeling of relief or, you know, happy for the character, you know, the non-existent character. And so I think like that, I found it in the past to be easier. Like if I'm not counting just like internal pain, about a variety of issues, chemical and otherwise. If I'm talking about like something external, I think I've cried more times or wept more times because of a piece of media, not because of somebody crying to me and telling me a really sad story, or seeing something really sad that happened in real life. Um, like it depends, really. But like as far as wept, yeah, Like, I can like name a few, and some of them are like goofy. Like, even I'm like, why would that make anybody cry? But it probably make some people, but it did cause me to cry. So yeah, because I've had a lot of situations where somebody tells me they're a struggle and hardship, and they're evoking, like they're displaying a lot of emotion. And I'm not without empathy, of course. I just like, I don't know, something in me just goes, oh, this isn't going inside me. And so, but I'll still like try to help and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Someone in a movie was forced to drink poison. It's not because they drank it and died that got me. It was the way they drank it proudly, like fuck you. That made me cry. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, like there's a couple of scenes that I'm always a sucker. Like I can't. I feel like such a bitch, but because I don't get like tore up like that very easily. But there are a few things that could tear me up, and most of those things aren't like a person telling me about how bad their life is. Even if it's somebody that like I really care about, it's not that like I explained. It's probably part of the defenses, but when somebody is that I know in real life is telling me about something tragic or bad that's befallen them, all I want to do is help them. Like in my mind, I just go, I want to help this person I respect. What would be the most useful and also helpful and honest and sincere thing I can say or do that would be of benefit to them, because I don't want them to be in pain, because I respect this person. Like that's where my brain goes usually. But I think because in a story I don't have any control over any of it, and I also don't have, there's no actual problem in front of me that needs to be fixed or conflict that needs to be mediated. It's just literally just something outside my control, so there's no sense of responsibility or sense of wanting to do something about it, and it's just raw emotion on display, of which the medium can't detect or see any vulnerability I may possess, and I don't feel that sense of, oh, I can actually do something about this, because I can't, because it's fiction. So yes, that was everything I say is long-winded, but yeah, I don't that's my experience. Like, yeah, that's my experience. It's definitely not like, because I've had, like I said, I've had my if you're talking about like, like the psychological term, or regarding like me and like my therapist, hell no, not at all. Like I don't have a bunch of transference that I pick up and absorb from like the psychologists I've seen for like 3 years. I've explained last time that I managed, because of overcoming a lot of other stuff, I managed to like have a fondness for them, respect and fondness. But yeah, like if they told me, oh, my mom died or something, and they started crying, like my brain would just go, okay, what can I do to alleviate this? And if I can't do anything, what can we discuss that maybe you want to work out, or just ramble, or do you want to vent? Because I'm down to let you vent. Any of that is fine by me. I just want to be able to, alleviate some of the pain and so. Like that's where my brain goes. It doesn't go to like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, you must be so like crying at them. That's really hard. Let me think here. I don't think I've ever cried with a single person together with that person in my entire life. Like I've wept in front of. There's only one person, beside the times that I was just like. Well, usually the times that was happening while I was on stream to me, it was like that cold, empty crying. I've rarely ever been able to sob, but I always didn't want to hide it because, you know, it's the experience of it all and depression and everything else. But as far as like sobbing like a baby, I've only been able to do that from my wife. My wife is the only person that I can do that for. But the moment someone I respect or care about in any way, shape, or form, they're crying, is the moment that my body goes, no, crying, any crying it could have occurred is not occurring in you. It is done. You have a duty. You have something to do now. So like, say I was like, if for some reason like I was weeping about something in front of my wife, and then she started weeping because of my tears were just, the faucet would just close, and I would just focus on her tears. Like, so I think it's kind of impossible for me to cry with somebody. It's like completely impossible. Even as like a kid, like, and bad stuff happened, like when I was a young adult, like I wouldn't cry. I almost never cry in front of my parents. And if I ever saw my mom crying, I never felt like crying. In fact, like I said, the opposite. And if I like, I think I can comfortably say, yeah. But so anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything. But like, yeah. So I don't get a lot of emotional transference from my psych. I guess that's the closest thing. Is it took 3 years for me to be like, this is a human being that I am glad as an individual to communicate with. So
yeah, 'cause I feel almost nothing towards my psychologist.
oh yeah, I mean, how long have you had them?
Let's see, a little over a year, I think.
Oh man, it took me two plus. So I don't know, maybe it just hasn't been long enough, or maybe you haven't gone like full hog or ham, like as far as like saying what's fucking with you or what makes you angry, like in a fully like mask off sort of way to them. I don't know, because
Yeah, that's probably true. I probably haven't done that.
Yeah, so if you start doing that stuff and they retain a degree of professionalism combined with like displaying a high level of metacognition to where they actually attempt to get into your headspace instead of just trying to tell you that what you're thinking is bad for you or something, no matter how they couch it, that's when I started being able to do that, or any kind of quote-unquote transference started occurring. I know for sure, because I've talked to my psych. I know for sure my shit has like, she's definitely gotten transference about my shit, like for sure.
Countertransference?
Yeah, countertransference. She's definitely gotten countertransference. Because like I've even talked to her about it, and she'll be like, "No, yeah, absolutely not." But of course, but yeah, it's normal for that to happen. But yes, I've been working with you for a long time, so absolutely. Like, so some of the fucked up shit, like the really fucked up shit in details, I've told her about some stuff. Like, I'm just kind of like talking about it, and like I could tell that like she's doing like everything to remain just stoic and professional and stuff. But I could tell like she's cracking. Like I could tell like she like, I think one time she had to like excuse herself or something for like a minute or two, because I was talking about some heavy shit, and I don't know, I guess the way I was talking about it, and so like ambivalently, and like it's like she could see my like, I guess like what maybe the perceived as my defenses and my like the amount of trauma that would cause like a person that didn't have these defenses, like how much it would like fuck them up in a different way. Maybe because she has that knowledge. and she thinks it's really fucked up to see me talk about these incredibly fucked up things in these ambivalent ways.
Like the fact that you can be ambivalent about it suggests all this stuff that like makes it traumatizing to someone without it.
Yeah, because like if I was like crying like and talking about trauma, like I think maybe for them that would be like, okay, this is a normal response to something like that, right?
Like they're at least able to process it as they're processing it right now.
Yeah, and they're crying because it's that same thing, right? Because like they're crying, so maybe for them, because they're a professional, they're like, you know, their training kicks in to be like, oh, I can't be affected by this. I have to be here for the patient, right? And when I'm doing it like that, maybe because of how I'm talking, it causes an imbalance. Sorry to be that person again, but please, the audio balance. Oh, jeez. It's because Shadow's up really high again. Hold on. I always have to change it between when I do streams or when I'm just gaming and hanging out or whatever. All right. Okay, melee. No, but
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I can't tell if there's an audio balance, so I'm glad Melee pipes in whenever.
Is it better? It's better
Am I
now.
still loud, Melee?
I lowered them a lot.
I know you're very specific, like sensitive, but you're still helpful. So
Yeah, I gotta give him a hard time for it. I'll lower him a little bit more. It's because it sucks. Because yeah, I know it's like all misbalanced. And I have no idea. All right. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer anything? Any follow-ups to any of that shit, Saintus?
Well, I suppose just that. I'm not sure if it's.
I don't know why I'm so low, Melee.
Yeah. I'm not sure how countertransference is defined, but I think it might not be countertransference if they develop an attachment to you. Based on things you've actually said, right? Because transference, the definition I've read is basically when you take from the past, your experiences with past people are influencing your perception of the current person.
Oh, that's usually. I mean, when I've read about transference, as far as with a therapist, that's not usually.
Angst, real quick. Sorry to interrupt, but your like input is really low compared to Saintus.
How low? How low?
Like at least half as low.
Oh my god. I fucking hate.
Like, it's not Saintus being loud, it's you being really quiet.
I'm really quiet, even though OBS is telling me I'm hitting the red right now.
Like, you're loud in Discord, right? But on stream, you are really quiet. Like, Saintus
is that any better? Is that the same?
Give me a second. I'm gonna tough again.
Motherfucker. I hate all this. What if I do this? Any better? Hello. Jesus Christ. Talk, motherfucker. I am talking. Talking. Saintus, talk.
Yo, hello. What do I say?
It's a video game music that's pegging the meter. But that's a different audio channel completely.
Alright, you're still quieter than Saintus, but it's better than it used to be.
What if I look, if I turn up, okay, that has to be better. It's like going into the super red right now. It has to be crazy better, or either that or it's just picking up a bunch of background noise now.
Yeah, it's much better.
Much better? Okay.
Yeah.
The gain on
it actually, like, the way you sound on stream now, it sounds like you sound like in Discord to me. Okay, good. So.
Okay, it's just because of the actual physical gain knob was too low. Because man, everyone has all these fucking. That's the funny part about like dealing and talking with such a variety of neurodivergent people is that like everyone has all these weird sensitivities to specific things and different things, right? Like
you don't. For a lot of people, you can tolerate practically anything.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like when somebody's like shit sounds all like wonky and I'll like usually tolerate it. Unless it's like really unintelligible, I can tolerate all kinds of shit. I don't care. But yeah, like some people will be like, what's that little clicking sound? Or what's that little wind noise? Or you sound a little too loud or quiet, or there's like a little buzz and shit like that. Like there's like so much.
I mean, Melee was completely correct in this instance.
Yeah,
They were really quiet.
Yeah. It's funny that it always takes Melee. Nobody else says shit. Maybe they're like me and they don't just give a fuck. No, don't.
Melee, you were helpful. Thank you.
You were helpful. Very thank you. It's good to know. Trust.
No one else does it, so
They don't need validation. They're fine. They're not a baby. All right.
Shut up, Angst.
Stop treating Melee like a baby.
Fuck you.
I'll
do whatever I want.
Yeah, okay. You can be a baby too. No, I mean leave if the audio is annoying. Oh, you'll just leave? Oh, hell yeah, based. Trudy. No, Melee meant like if it doesn't get fixed, they'll just leave.
Care.
Like, because they can't stand the shit audio. That's what they meant. See, told you. I knew it wasn't anything like that.
Okay, first of all, what you were talking about had nothing to do with Melee's real reason anyway. So
yeah,
don't even go there, mister.
But I knew it wasn't.
You weren't right, not even for the wrong
I thought they
reason,
were joking.
Because you weren't even talking about it.
No, well, okay, maybe.
You were just telling me not to call him a baby, so you couldn't even be right in general.
To call him babies?
Giving me a command.
Oh, call them a baby. Okay, yeah. Anyway,
there's nothing you're even arguing.
Sorry, go ahead, Saintus. Did you have something to follow up with that? Because I got distracted by the whole thing.
No,
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that the definition of...
the definition. Well, then I don't know. Yeah, go ahead again.
Yeah, the definition is when your past experiences with people influence your current perception of a person.
It's not. I don't know. Is there like? Well, I mean, some words have multiple definitions, so I don't know if it depends on the context of where it's being defined. Because otherwise, I mean, unless I'm really misunderstanding this, because I've talked about transference with my psychologists.
I just googled what transference was, and I don't know why I never actually looked into it, but that just seems like what I do, like, to everybody.
I mean, isn't it normal to have? I mean, isn't every human being affected to some degree?
Oh, easily,
like
100%,
by all their past experiences with other people,
without
and
a doubt.
how it kind of shapes their initial representation in their mind of new people, like that they come across.
I just didn't realize this was the definition.
That's transference? Am I stupid?
Yeah. No, that. If I'm understanding the definition right, that sounds like something that happens on a daily basis.
I mean, if you're talking about that, I mean, okay, look. If you're talking about that, yes. Schizoids, wait, it's a weird concept, transference and countertransference. I like it. Okay, then I've had it wrong this whole time. Why don't you interrupt me, Saintus? God damn it.
What do you think transference is?
Well, I thought it was when people have long. I thought it was when people have like. I thought it was mainly about the relationship between a therapist and a client, and there being like more than clinical emotionality being sort of exchanged and absorbed by both parties in a way. So I thought it was when human beings communicate and then absorb each other's feelings. I thought that's what that was.
I thought that's what it was too.
I changes
it, so
everything.
Maybe the Google's telling me wrong.
That changes everything. Because wow, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
The reason it changes everything is because whenever I've read. Okay, so that means that anytime I've read about countertransference, they're just talking about what? Like the psychologist
doing transference on you.
Or
yeah.
I think it's
no.
Like the way the way your transference influences your relationship, right? Like they have a reaction to your transference.
Wait, to your transference? So, because like the psychologist is going to have quote unquote transference regarding other clients they've had with similar problems. All right, so they're gonna like, that's gonna influence their perception of new clients that they get.
So
They have
what
similar
I'm understanding just from
I'm
this
confused.
5-minute Google search, I just sent you a DM. But what I'm understanding is that transference is when the patient transfers their emotions about a previous experience or person onto the therapist.
Fucking idiot.
And then countertransference is the therapist doing that to them in response to their transference. And I didn't know that either. I had the same assumption you did.
So what is it called if a psychologist is judging or has preconceived notions about the patient because of previous patients with similar problems, that would just be the psychologist I guess
Not necessarily
transferring or doing transference on the patient.
What you're doing implies just some kind of confirmation bias, pattern recognition thing. Transference is mostly like you get into an emotional state and you're kind of blinded a little bit by those emotions.
Yeah, but aren't decisions made because of emotional states?
Well, yes and no, right? To me, it feels different because there can be, oh, I've seen this before, confirmation bias. Yes. Or there can be, I felt this before, but I'm unaware that this is why I'm saying this.
Trudy said something cool. She said, it's a weird concept, transference, countertransference. I like it. You seem like my dad, so I'll behave as such.
That's not literal, by the way. That was them.
No, I know. I'm not fucking stupid, okay. Shadow.
I don't know.
Categorizing people and putting out behaviors linked to emotions.
That has nothing to do with your stupidity.
Yeah, I know. You were just trying to be helpful.
If someone was autistic like me, I would have said that literally because it was.
Yeah,
like
but I'm not fucking autistic. Anyway. So let me see here.
Transfer these nuts.
Transfer these nuts into your mouth.
Do the math.
Categorizing people and putting out behaviors linked to emotions. So if I met Trudy IRL and I had some you my dad? I'm Trudy's dad now. But no, if I met Trudy in real life and I had like really bad experiences with like my Aussie, I don't know if I had like an Aussie stepmother or something. And so then when Trudy starts talking and some of her mannerisms will like cause me to sort of start behaving in a way like I would around my stepmother that like caused me trauma, that would be transference.
If you were to treat her as you would of your stepmother, yes.
But like even if it's unconscious, right? Like I'm not like yes. I don't even realize.
No, especially if it's unconscious.
Okay. That's interesting.
Like if a therapist, if a patient comes in and they behave like a previous patient, say the therapist has had a bad experience and frustrating experience with the patient, and this new one reminds them of that, and that leads this therapist to diagnose them with the previous patient.
Because they don't want to like
do that.
Deal with
that
all
would
the problems
be transference. Not if the therapist would like in a logical manner come to the conclude that coincidentally these are the same situations and I can prove it, right? Yeah. Or I just made a bad assumption because I just had this confirmation
So it's when that person's emotional behavior and responses start mirroring the ones that they would have with the previous person that would have caused, usually associated with the person or the type of person that caused the original traumas that caused the issues.
I didn't know that, and this took less than 5 minutes of Google searching.
Oh, okay.
So I can't believe I didn't figure that out.
I've had that happen to me before, where like, because I'm usually pretty damn good at reading between the lines, or what did they used to call it? Yeah, subtext and not subtext. What was it called when you like figure out what a word means without like looking it up based on the context?
Clues?
Context, yeah, contextual. Yeah, defining or context clues. Yeah, I remember context clues. But yeah, like I usually do that for words a lot automatically, and most of the time I'm right. But I guess I was terribly wrong with that one.
I wasn't good with that when I was a child, but then I became more in tune with like, with understanding like my dreams, right? So once I started understanding symbolism in my dreams and how it correlated with my emotions, it started to become like an unconscious, like, wait a minute, I know this feeling. What is this? And then it's like, oh, there's context here. There's something to be found within. And it's like unconscious guiding me and giving me like a sign, like, hey, red alert. But like I don't know what the red alert is consciously until I recognize it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this definition of transference, this happens literally every single day of my life. And happens constantly with other people.
Yeah, something that has to be true.
Yeah, so schizoids do it all. I mean, I would say schizoids probably do it a lot. Like, a hell of a lot. Like, it's part of, like... I know. If that's what the definition is, I've definitely done that a bunch of times in the past. Where, essentially, it would mean that... But it's, like, more broad, I would say, across people. I think with the schizoid, maybe?
You're good at understanding when that transference happens? Because I
didn't used to be. I am after my 20s, I got a lot better at figuring that out. But nah, like my early 20s, oh hell no. Like that's
when I was a teenager, I agree.
Yeah, I was like utterly misanthropic until like, but because I was like the people would display behavior, like they would display behaviors that probably reminded me of past traumas regarding like not being like, you know, like things like not being being misinterpreted, not being understood when I'm trying to communicate something, people making assumptions. And so like when I would hear a tinge of that occurring, I know I would react, like my behavior around that person would change very quickly.
Yeah, I think that kind of feeds into more complex PTSD stuff. I don't know if that makes us more liable or at the same liable, but just in our specific manner.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I do a pretty good job of understanding when I do that, but I won't understand it until after I've done it. And then I'll correct it.
I gotta talk to my psych again, because we might have been using different definitions and thought we were talking. We thought we were talking about the same thing, but they were probably using the correct definition because it would still be applicable, which is kind of funny. Like to their response to that. That's humorous. I'm gonna next time I see them, I'll try to remember to bring this up. I'll be like, hey, remember when we talked a little bit about transference? And they're really like, yeah, I thought transference was this. And I have a feeling they're going to be like, oh, no. And I'll be like, that's crazy, because it sounded like we were having a conversation about the same thing, but we weren't.
And you could, really. Like, the transferring of someone else's emotions to you and, like, you absorbing them could easily be a definition someone mistakes for...
Yeah, no, for sure.
Googled up.
And having a conversation about the other thing and this thing, depending on the context, two people could be like no and yes and agree, and yeah, because they're kind of on a similar, it's a similar sort of talking or discussion about emotionality and behavior and being effective.
Trudy, I think you could make the argument that if something were to like remind you of certain events and you kind of like quote unquote shut down or
for sure, that would be still
lessen emotions, that would be
like that's what happened. I've had that happen for sure.
Yeah,
like I've been like for example,
which is very Zoid.
Oh shit, you know what it is? It's it would happen to me especially when I was younger, when I would be in places or do things, and then remember that what that big thing? Do you remember? You know what I'm gonna say, or no?
No.
When you remember.
Oh, that.
So it kind of is that, but the reason
it's a reminder.
It's a reminder, like so. I know a lot of times where I've been in a social situation or around something, and then a person or the people around me will display a certain behavior that will remind me, essentially. And then like I could feel my entire internal, because I probably continue masking at the time, my internal demeanor would completely shift to like apathy and disgust and annoyance and like all kinds of negative shit. So like like I would go from like, oh, I'm having a fun conversation about this topic and this is kind of cool, and then like at some point they will say or do something that I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I don't connect with people the same way.
Which
and
is essentially a
boom,
trigger.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a very complex trauma trigger.
And then I'm like completely like just any tinge of like connection, it just gets severed immediately. It's like dunzos.
I think transference is in specifically for people, not necessarily for concepts. Because what I want to say,
well, I mean, in this with this definition, yeah, the correct one, yes, yeah.
Well, because there's a little bit of a difference of, for example, I talk to people and they remind me I can't connect to people.
Yeah.
If I'm not connecting that to a very specific instance and I'm connecting that to a variety of instances as a concept, I don't think that would be necessarily
people are concepts
transference as it would be complex trauma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Therese said people are concepts.
Yeah, but I don't even think you can make the case that a neurodivergent perspective of perceiving people as objects or concepts, etc., applies to this.
I don't know.
I think it's very specifically, if I were to engage with someone and they would remind me of my father, for example, and then I would treat them as I would my father.
Oh, well, I mean, you said that the other day. I think I said a joke that sounded like a joke your dad would make, and then you got really.
And it evoked a lot of that would be transference.
No, it would be wouldn't it be transference if you weren't aware of it and then you acted like, say you started like getting annoyed with me like you would with your dad because of one thing I said?
I don't think it.
Doesn't it require that?
I don't think it needs to be unconscious, because like if it still evokes the feelings in me and I can't like change the emotions because that's just how emotions are, they're volatile.
Yeah.
That is technically still transference.
That's interesting.
But not if you do something that reminds me of a variety of complex situations bundled into a concept. Yeah. That would just be complex trauma.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was just thinking about like, I wonder how much of this transference affects the way we interact with characters. Not necessarily IRL people. Because like, for example, there's probably a lot of people, like, you know, there's like a lot of times where like I'll be
Freudian complex?
No, but like I'll be watching something.
Or no, Oedipus complex. That's
no, I'll be watching something. Stop. I'll be watching something with my.
Well, that could be a form of transference.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true, actually.
Maybe, but maybe not. No, that sounds way different. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm gonna let that.
Okay. What I was gonna say is I'll be watching something with my wife, and then she'll like, it'll just be a new show or a new thing, and then she'll be like, I don't like that character. She'll just be like, I don't like, so there's something, like, I don't like that character. I'm like, and in my head I go like, oh, like why? What specifically? She's like, I don't know. I just don't like that character. I don't like that. And I'm like, huh. And now that I think about it, I mean, like, oh, could that happen in that setting? Like where?
Yeah, It's like, I don't know if other people can as easily, and I'm not saying like I'm some super master at this, right?
Yeah.
But to me, there's this like recognition of, hey, there's this emotional weight to this that I can't rationalize.
Yeah.
I know this feeling.
I can catch
this
it now.
Feels this emotional weight feels like it's tied into some kind of past event.
Yeah,
like,
even
like
if you can't pinpoint
these
it.
patterns, and you can hear it in other people.
I mean, I've had it in the past when I was more dissociated about this stuff. Like, I've had it in the past where I could feel the some gears turning that weren't a second ago, but I won't be able to recognize why. But I'll know they did, and then I won't even be able to recognize completely what the feeling is, whether it's like anger or anxiety. I'll just know because I'm really aware of my internal stuff, and then I'll be like, something just shifted. Why? And then it would bother me because I'm like feeling like, I don't know, whether anxious or morose, and the shift occurred, but I have no idea why. And sometimes depending on how bad things were, sometimes I wouldn't even know what triggered it until sometime after. And if it happens during, to me it seemed like it came out of nowhere. It made no sense. So I know there's like two kinds. I've had the kind where I know it's happening and I know why, because that one I can probably rationalize in some way, like, oh, this is how people behave, blah blah blah. And I shouldn't have been foolish about thinking it would be different. Well, but then there's the ones where I don't know why. It just kind of happened, and I'm like in a shitty mood now, and I'm like, why am I shitty mood? Nothing happened between now and an hour ago. Literally nothing happened. And then I would get annoyed with myself because I was like, I was fine. I was like neutral. Why am I pissed now? Nothing happened. Like, I get recognized it a lot better now, but I remember having instances like that where I would get annoyed with myself because I didn't even understand why I was, feeling something at all. Like, instead of just plateauing because nothing was happening.
You know what's an interesting thing I just remembered? My mother, not too long ago, I think within the last year, mentioned to me while she was talking about past events in my childhood. She's been a lot more receptive than my father has and being more apologetic. Yeah. So I'm on a lot much better terms with her than I am my father. But she mentioned to me that she had a number of problems when I was a child, and I remember this because I said it back then, but I didn't connect it until she mentioned it again this time, wherein I acted like my father because obviously I'm his son, and it would trigger her, but it didn't necessarily like make her hostile. It didn't actively trigger her to do bad things, but I would hear her say, "Oh, you sound like your father,"
which is kind of funny because, right? Like, I bet hearing that would cause you some kind of discomfort.
As a kid, I didn't mind it too much. It was just what it was.
But as an adult, you might.
Oh, it would now, right? But
yeah, like if
as a kid, I would hear her say that, and I wouldn't really care, and she wouldn't like punish me or anything, or she wouldn't like react in this emotional manner. It was mostly an aside. But when she was talking to me recently about it, she said, like, and I guess she just hit it well, or I just couldn't understand it at the time as I can now, that it definitely did trigger her, because as far back as I know, by the time I was born, they were already separated. So I've never had any kind of family unit.
Hey, I just realized something. Okay, so now that I actually understand what transference is properly, I just realized that like, as parents, like, okay, I wonder if for humans in general, more, but probably, I don't know. I don't know if it would be more for people. I don't know. Maybe it's just for humans in general. The more connected, or the more obligation, responsibility, or affection. No, because I don't think that's the reason I do it. Well, I'm just thinking. Okay, usually, if somebody has an interpersonal connection with somebody of a deeper kind, I guess, that they would be more aware of these kind of transference events and check themselves more often if they have that level of introspection, I guess. Because I'm wondering, like, because that's a trope, the whole, like, the divorced or the single mother or the divorced mother that's abusive toward the son because you remind me of your father kind of shit. That's like,
is that a cliche?
Yeah, it's a cliche. It's a trope. Like, the abusive mother that hates the son because you're just like your father. It's literally like,
because I was never abused by my mother. Like, there were plenty of times where
no, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
I was like kind of afraid of.
No, but what I'm saying is that, like, because she checked herself, right? I
feel like she did a good job of checking herself.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that some like a different mother might not check herself and just start like exhibiting negative behaviors and then rationalizing them, like, well, I have to make sure he doesn't turn out like his father, so I have to punish him, so, like,
yeah,
shit like that. And so yeah, it's funny too, because that's like literally what is happening in Binding of Isaac. That's what's happening to Isaac in many ways. So
here's an interesting theory. She did a good job at doing that when I was older. Like, we're talking past 10 years old. But if we're talking very way back when I was not even 4 years old yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did. And in fact, I'm willing to put like
she would slip. She would slip.
I'm willing to bet that she couldn't and didn't at all. And that's what led to me not really even perceiving her as a mother figure.
Trejo's18 on Twitch says Livia Soprano from The Sopranos. I never watched Sopranos, but I'm guessing that's the kind of character, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there was an interesting memory I thought of. Just yesterday, I think there was a connection I made with my feelings and perceptions towards massage therapy, because I'm very receptive of it. In fact, I'm going to get an education to get a licensed to practice in my state. And I just recalled that my first stepmother, I've only ever had two, but my first one, when I was ages 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 5, I think it was 2 years, she was also a masseuse. And I completely forgot about that until now. And I distinctly remember in preschool, like 4 years old, in preschool, crying for my mother. But I very much remember that when I was crying for my mother, I was not crying for my actual mother. I was crying for my stepmother. So I wonder if I connect the act of massage therapy to a mother figure that I had and was swiftly taken away from me.
Interesting.
And I didn't even make the connection until just yesterday.
That's some rough shit.
I don't have a lot of memories with her per se, but there's a few I do, and I don't think I recall any kind of animosity towards her. I think she, in my mind as a child, was completely safe. And to me, realizing that she was completely safe in those few memories I have was startling, because like I'm comparing that to other memories of other people, and I can't think of a single other person that was completely safe. Everybody had their caveats. My father was never safe, but he wasn't exactly abusive. My mom had her caveats. She was very emotionally unstable. Even my stepmom.
I don't think you're using caveat right, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway,
well, like,
faults?
There was,
or... flaws. And
but
structure.
I meant like they would be safe, but they also sometimes weren't. So it was an unstable connection.
Yeah, interesting.
So maybe I'm using the wrong word wrong, but
no, yeah.
For example, even my stepmother, who I'm on better terms with than anyone in my family, she still had. I knew from a very young age that she chose my father over me emotionally. I could it was easily plenty of arguments later on, and that's probably the right decision, right? So I can't really fault her logically speaking, but I didn't feel that way about my first stepmother, and obviously they separated very quickly.
Damn, dude, that's crazy.
But I think that was like
the one thing. Interesting.
Yeah, so she could have been safe, but that I realized that she absolutely, most assuredly chose my father over me meant that she was not completely safe, and I couldn't form a complete connection.
Rudy says, high-level introspection. See how people are concepts when you really think about it. We're like literally turning people into concepts.
So I think the schizoid adaptation seed was because quite literally everybody was not safe in some way or another. I could not fully depend on or rely on anybody completely.
I mean, that falls well in line with even the more conventional views about why schizoid adaptations occur to begin with, right? Like
and that does fall in
lack of safety, neglect. That's what's interesting too. Is like it's when your guardian figures are essentially like neglectful or do not feel safe. It's not reassured. It's not stable. Even people that are neurotypical would develop avoidant attachment style, not avoidant personality disorder, but avoidant attachment style. So it would make sense that like at least like I would imagine that for a neurodivergent kid, this is something that could occur a lot easier and a lot stronger. Especially
but I do have memories of a figure that was completely safe.
But it was temporary.
Even for a short time, and it was stripped from me, right? But I wonder if that has led to me, like, not completely relating to the most cliche version of a schizoid, because I'm still very in touch with my emotions, even if it's touch and go, and there still feels like a singular line of my life where back when I was a child still feels like the same timeline as me right now. It still feels like a cohesive
I don't
measure.
Feel that same timeline for sure, but I think I'm starting to, so I've been making some progress with that. So connecting the timelines, like the childhood to the me now, like that's something I've been slowly working on, and that's interesting. That's been an interesting adventure.
So I think I absolutely relate like massage therapy in conjunction with a form of safety.
So then this is like something that sounds comfortable and you can do it, and you could also connect it to other things about yourself.
So now I'm like even more just
interested in that.
Full on, like now I absolutely have to pursue this.
I'm like, why don't you become it would take so much longer. I was gonna say go to school and become a chiropractor. It's very similar.
I don't know, maybe, but I definitely want to get.
That's where you're setting people's bones and shit. You know,
I definitely now I feel like I need to be educated for being a masseur, just because of that revelation.
The only problem with being a masseur is you have to be really careful with your hands, because a lot of you have to really fucking take care of them. You have to do make sure to do certain types of exercises and things.
Which sucks because I'm a gamer.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like, dude, masseurs, like, after like, you know, just like a decade or two or whatever of doing it like consistently, like they'll get like carpal tunnel and shit. Like,
oh, absolutely, I will need
yeah, you're gonna
be
get carpal
very
tunnel,
particular about my
arthritis and
hands.
shit. So you have to like take care of them fucking hands, like,
yeah,
like as far as your wrists and everything, strengthen them. You know, maybe even work on you know, you could do exercises for like grip strength. You know what's a really good exercise for like grip strength and stuff? So that way you're not like putting
jark in it.
No. That way you're not like putting all the like you're using the rest of your like arms muscles to like apply pressure instead of just like putting the weight of your body into it, and like, you know, probably harming other shit in the process. Is what do you call it, climbing, mountain climbing, or climbing, not like climbing, wall climbing. There you go, wall climbing. Like the whole wall climbing thing, that like gives people, like when they do it for a few years, that gives people crazy grip strength. I remember that because there's this like guy who's really funny. You guys have probably heard of him. It's called like Junji Mufu or something. Or Junji Mufu. The guy's fucking hilarious. He's like this fucking just batshit crazy. Like he's probably in his like, I don't know if he's like 50 already or he's just in his mid or late 40s, but he's like a giant man. Like he's very buff and very big, but he's hilarious and crazy and actually very kind. But he just does really stupid videos and crazy shit. And he went to a place where there was like you know, people that just regularly do wall climbing, and there's this like weight that has like this little wedge thing attached to it at the top of it, and the only way you're supposed to lift it in a certain position, and where you're essentially using nothing but your grip strength, and then like so all this muscle right here, and then the small muscles all throughout here, and to grip it and lift it, right? And he like couldn't like lift this thing with his, like, you know, his muscles are bulging, he's all veiny, you know, he does like really stupid crazy things, like he's done like crazy like bench lifting while like on a canopy, like dangerous insane shit, and he was like, he couldn't fucking lift it. And then this lean dude, you know, who was muscular, but this lean muscular dude like comes up and he's like, all right man, you try it, and the guy's just like clink, and he just lifts it up, like, and like because of the grip strength. It's crazy. Like those are the people that could hang on to the side of a ledge, or like hang on to like anything where grip is required. Those people can like lock their fucking grip into something, and it's crazy, man. Like they could probably like crush a hand. Like they could probably crush your fucking hand easily. So it's yeah, it's really interesting. So I would look into maybe getting into wall climbing, just to make that grip strength go crazy. Anyway, I don't know why I went down that tangent, because I'm a fucking weirdo.
I mean, you really like grip strength, I guess.
No, I really like a lot of things, because I started thinking about it and it sounded cool. Yeah, if you carried bricks, you would have to like I don't know, I guess ways you can like casually practice that, it would be like to carry like a bag of bricks, but just like on your fingertips, and then walk around. I mean,
like there's plenty of things I can think of.
Yeah, where you just lift with your fucking fingertips, like your fingers, and then literally practice, like work them out like you would anything else. That's why the wall climbing is so good, because you know you're trying to get higher and faster, and faster and at it, and so like as you get faster and faster, obviously your grip strength is being like worked on super hard.
You just had to make it into a time trial, and now my autistic ass is like, oh, speed running. Now
no, that's what I mean. That's what wall climbers do. They speed run. Like
I know, but like I didn't know that, and I wasn't like particularly interested. It was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out. But then you had to be like, oh, get faster and faster.
That's literally why.
God damn it, Angst, you just had to call it speedrun.
No, it is literally that, because like they'll like the person on the ground that usually they're partnered up with or whatever, or maybe on their own wrist, they'll like time themselves and start climbing, and then they'll do that until they're exhausted, and then the next time they'll try to beat their previous times. And then like once they hit their limit on one wall, maybe they have to try on a higher wall or a more complex wall, or a wall that has like the pieces like way more apart, so more stretching and then pulling and grip strength is required, and thumb grip, yeah. And like, so then they get faster and faster, and then they get buffer and buffer. They're like, their arms, they're, you know. And the cool thing too is they don't, even if somebody that doesn't want to get like yoked up, like big, they can get lean and buff, because like, it's just a lot of using your muscles, but like, I don't know, it's still speed running on a wall. You're just Spider-Man.
It's not bulking.
No, it's not bulking. It's like a lot of cardio, and you are bulking, but you're bulking like all the small muscles, like in your legs and your arms. So that's why like you'll see those dudes like that do the wall climbing, and they'll lift their shirts. They have like a 6-pack, and they're like, their arms are like, when they flex them, you see like all these muscle, but when they're like relaxed, it's all like whatever. But those motherfuckers can climb, man.
I already have like there's at least 3 games I have on Steam that I play just every so often that are literally just speedrun climbing.
Yeah,
like,
well,
simulators.
yeah, you should just IRL do it and get really fit.
Just what that is.
Yeah, you can just get fit in the process.
This is just IRL speedrunning.
Yeah, and you get fit. I mean, that's what racing is, right? That's what beating your time around a track is. Like, that's the whole thing. Like,
yeah,
a lot of cardio, like, exercise is speedrunning.
The concept of climbing and speedrunning.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, I know that
climbing.
one.
It's wall climbing. Yeah.
Like if I'm just like jogging and I'm trying to beat a time, whatever. But the concept of I am climbing something and it's speedrunning, because you know my fixation with towers.
Yeah.
And that's connecting a whole lot of other stuff in my
that's the whole point. So you just gotta climb. And then people that get really good at that, they try to practice it IRL, you know, with safety precautions, but like on the side of a mountain or something. And so they'll like, you know, they'll have
a skyscraper
or something insane like that. But like, they'll obviously, if they're not an idiot, they'll have all the safety measures along the way. But yes, like,
if they're a coward, you mean?
No, if they're not an idiot. Because anything can happen.
Because
mountains are not the same as a fucking wall climb that like is all bolted on there, like pieces of fucking.
Oh no! Have the safety measures if you're on a mountain, yeah, for sure. But if you're on a skyscraper, you're a coward.
So you're a coward. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah. So then like people.
Do not take my advice. This is Minecraft.
Yeah, really.
Obviously.
I mean, like I have to admit, like I'm not interested in doing that, but. Like,
you're not interested in leaving your house.
No, I do, just not that often.
But you're not interested in it.
No, but I'm interested in going to the gym. I like going to the gym. I like lifting. But
you would do that at your house if it were safe and viable.
No, if I had like a whole gym and like and it was lasting AC in there, I would totally just do it at home. I wouldn't fucking go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
You're right. It's a resource. It's a resource issue. Itself. It's not. No, I don't need the gym. I need to have that space.
I state.
Yeah, you're right.
You wouldn't leave your house if you didn't have.
If I had like a bunch of land and I had a mansion with all the shit I needed, I would probably never leave my fucking home.
I get wanderlust. I gotta go somewhere eventually. It's too much of the world.
I don't know. It's just I don't really care. I don't really care about what's mostly out there, because whatever's out there. And everything I've seen that's out there from my computer is not that interesting. There's a few places I would go to though. There's a few very select locations. You know what would make me go places is like if I was going on, if I had the money to go on trips to supernatural locations. Like I would absolutely do that. Like that would be really fun.
Like Bermuda?
Well, no, I don't want to fucking be out in the ocean. I'm talking about like, you know, like haunted castles and like fucking haunted fortresses and
haunted graveyards.
For sure, graveyards, 100%.
But shipwreck.
Not shipwrecks. I'm not an ocean guy. I'll tell you that right now.
You don't like oceans? What do you mean by that?
Well, one, because it's always like a very big agoraphobia issue. And then
yeah, but you weren't always agoraphobic, so I thought this was the assumption of if you weren't agoraphobic anymore.
No, I still don't like the sea because I don't like that lack of control over like if your boat sinks, you're fucked. Like there's no escape.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You're just fucked. You just drown. Like there's nothing. Like
I have a very polarizing relationship with the concept of a sea and an ocean.
Yeah,
I feel like both. It's both terrifying, but it also feels like a home in a way. It really just depends on my mood.
Like I like watching. I'm not like really super far into it, but I watch One Piece with my daughter, and we like it. And like, I was thinking about it the other day because like one of the consequences of eating a devil fruit. Which gives you, the cool powers that everyone that eats a devil fruit gets.
Fluffy can't swim.
You can't swim. And, like, dude, that's fucking crazy. Like, being a seafaring pirate, but you can't swim? Like, you'll die in, like, a fucking, like, a pool that's taller than you? Like, it's crazy. Like, if you threw Luffy into, like, a 7-foot pool, he'll drown. Like, yeah. Like, that's bananas, man. Like, so, yeah, like, but then being a pirate? Like, what the fuck?
Alright, so you were watching One Piece, speaking of oceans?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm relating to. Is like, that terror, like, I was thinking about, like, I wouldn't eat the devil fruit. I couldn't. Like, unless I'm not gonna be a pirate. I'll eat a devil fruit if I'm just gonna be, like, on the land. But if I'm forced to go across the sea, dude, that's, like, terrifying. Like, I'm gonna drown. Like, there's no... Even if there's a boat across the way, unless somebody drags my ass, I can't even swim from one boat to the next. I'm just drowning. Like,
there's something really terrifying about an open ocean, but at the same time, there's also something really, like, primally comforting at the same exact time.
Hey, Tony. If I had gills... I would love the ocean. I would love the fucking ocean.
I mean, I kind of read chat every so often, Tony, but...
Yeah, I read chat sometimes. No, I do. I have it up on my other screen. Yes, I do. There's just nobody ever types anything.
Angst, you are full of shit.
No, okay, look. I read chat, but most of the typing that occurs is people having some off to the side conversation with each other. Like, almost always.
You are full of shit. Sorry, but not sorry.
Really? Okay, maybe I don't read chat.
Really? I mean, there are instances you can pluck out that you have read chat before. But
I look at chat
outnumbered by the times you do not read chat.
Well, I'll look at chat like every 15 to 20 minutes. To see if anything.
Well, there you go. That's not.
but usually nothing changes. Nothing changes like at all. Just quit my sales job and feeling like $1 million.
Really good streamer.
Well, I hope you have money to do that, Tony, or you have, it's not gonna like fuck you over. But yes, it does feel really good to quit a job that you hate or don't like. Is awesome. That's a very, very nice feeling. Quitting is awesome, especially if you have zero interest in it.
I like my job, but I'm quitting anyway. It's my second job ever, and I'm still gonna be happy when I quit, despite it like having almost zero negative things to say about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess anybody would be happy. Most people would be happy about not being a wagey for a while.
I'm more so happy about the reason why I'm quitting.
Yeah,
is more of a step into the future. Like,
yeah, your situation is different. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not so happy that it's over. I'm happy that this is a step towards new beginnings.
Like, some of the jobs I quit, like, oh man, it felt so good to quit. Like, it was just.
This is my second job ever, and I even like my job at Burger King.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Goodbye. And
it's the autism. I think
I've only ever quit 2 jobs ever. Every other job I've had has been I get let go because the store or the business goes out of business. Like almost every instance, it's just because they either downsized or they went out of business completely. That's most of my job loss in the past. But yeah, the 2 jobs I did quit, meaning like in the middle of the shift, I said, I'm out. Fuck this. Yeah, that felt really good.
I gave my 2 weeks. I still got 1 more week.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is that like, it's just different. Quitting is different from like resigning. Like resigning, I feel like when you do 2 weeks, it's like a resign.
I've resigned from both of my jobs then.
Yeah, quitting is more like, fuck this, I'm done, peace out, and then you just leave. You just bail on the job. Fuck this.
I want to keep this opportunity open in case shit.
No, of course, but that's because you like your job. But like, there's some instances, man, where the environment's so toxic, so shit, man. Like you're just like, I can't fucking do this. Power quitting. Quit versus rage quit.
I get along with everybody. Nobody has problems with me. I like my job at Burger King, a fast food place, even. And
it's horrible.
I mean, I'm never gonna work there.
Liked your job at a Burger? Oh my god, fast food
at the time.
What a fucking nightmare, people.
So there's this thing about me where, in the same way I have wanderlust every now and then, I distinctly remember as a child looking out of the window and not understanding the concept of a world beyond the row of houses I could see with my eyes. And also not understanding the concept of anything outside of the empty living room I was in. So every step forward I take in life, including that job, which was my first one, and it was introduced to new people on a daily basis, as well as my coworkers instead of my family members.
Yeah.
I usually have positive experiences because it feels like I am going away from the quote-unquote empty, silent prison that I was in as a child, and I get to experience life more fully.
Yeah.
So even though I was in a shitty town working fast food for shitty customers, and even my coworkers weren't really that great, to me, it was better than anything I had before. So I had the complete opposite perspective of it. And I was, at the time, very happy that it happened. I would never do it again now.
I could see that in the right context.
But like, it feels like I've been progressing forward when I do these things. So that's why I have positive experiences.
Well, I certainly hope it does keep in progress.
Autistic naivety.
Really quick here, because I do want to end the stream. Tony asked a question, so I want to be able to answer it to some degree. Did you guys ever struggle with substance abuse? I'm a schizoid and I use always booze it up or pop a couple perks to mask myself as a more social person. I smoke pot for a feeling of happy. I probably have a little too much beverage at night than I should. But that's mostly because not for social stuff. It's just mostly because I want brain empty, and just play game, brain empty, talk fun things, and usually, and then, but I've never fucked with other stuff. I don't think Shadow's fucked with anything.
I haven't done any drugs. I've done weed once. Don't like it.
Yeah, but that's not substance abuse. It's like fucking around with.
Well, that's what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to talk. Just talk.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain that I've done a couple of things, but they don't do much for me. So, like,
if they did, though, you think you would have been fucking
well, maybe.
Be all
like,
fucking
I
addicted
can't,
and shit. Damn.
I can't really say, but addiction runs in my family.
Yeesh.
On both sides, right? So.
Yeah, there you go.
But I've tried. I've essentially tried to have an addiction, and it didn't work.
That's funny. I've been drinks multiple times a week for years. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm of the subset where I probably would be abusing substances if they actually did anything for me.
Well, I mean, alcohol in general is like one of the types of substance abuse that a lot of schizoids partake in.
I try. I literally have tried to have an alcoholic addiction, and it did not work. Both my father and my mother have had alcohol addictions, and addiction runs in both sides of my family, and I've tried, and it failed.
You wanted to become an alcoholic?
Yes.
Why?
Because then I would add a coping mechanism to living life, and I didn't have it, so I had to fucking raw dog everything.
Raw dog. Let me see here. I would binge. Oh, yeah, I already read that. How about you, Saintus, substance abuser?
Yeah. I mean, I've tried a bunch of different.
You've tried it, but not tried a bunch of stuff. Like I'm talking about abuse. Like you're like recurringly using certain things, or maybe still are. Like what?
Yeah, well, I've had it like kratom.
Okay, kratom. Anything else?
Well, I don't find nicotine to be addictive at all, but I'm using nicotine.
What was it like to be addicted to kratom?
I mean,
are you still addicted to it?
No. I mean, I'm not really taking it. I have a tolerance. Still have a tolerance. So.
Okay, so that's what made it stop.
Would you be if you didn't have a tolerance?
I would still be using it if I didn't have a tolerance.
Yeah.
Do you get withdrawals from a kratom addiction?
Yeah. It's it's an opioid, so you get opioid withdrawal symptoms.
That's true. That must have been
but
rough.
I never had any issue with it actually.
Withdrawals?
I don't mind withdrawals. Yeah, it seemed fine. And sometimes I even feel a little better, like when I took naltrexone full dose for the first time.
Yeah.
I was halfway paralyzed and suddenly I could move. It was there's a study finding it's helpful for negative symptoms of schizophrenia. So yes. So I actually think withdrawals were not an issue.
Have any of them ever made you more socially adaptable?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say kratom definitely did. Makes it feel, makes everything a lot easier.
Did you did it change the way? Like, did it do anything for like having an impact on like your flat affect or anything temporarily?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so there was like a lot more cadence in your voice and stuff. It's interesting.
Probably, I would assume so.
So here's the part where we try to figure out ways to get around the abuse of substances to achieve the same effect.
Okay, let's not go down that fucking path as far as conversation goes.
You did not understand what I was trying to say at all, Angst.
No, I know what you're saying. How to get around the detrimental aspects.
No, how to not use substances.
Oh.
And instead achieve the same results without substances.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Because all I'm hearing are pros for doing drugs.
No, I know, but I mean,
alcohol.
technically, I'm pro-pharmaceutical drug to a certain degree, because I do take Wellbutrin and Prozac and propofol.
Yeah, but not abusing it.
No.
Obviously.
I'm not taking it like if I wanted to, like, for example, like, I could see how somebody would abuse something like propanolol, because if for me the anxiety is situational and agoraphobia related, like the severe anxiety and panic, so I only take like the 60 milligrams when I'm going to be in a specific situation, right? But I'm not really in that situation a lot. But if, say, I was like the type of person that was just getting panic attacks about like almost all social interaction or anything. Like I'm just freaking the fuck out and I just feel fucking anxiety all the time. And then you take a pill and it makes the anxiety physical symptoms go away. Yeah, I could see how somebody would abuse something like that for sure. 100%.
So how would you have any advice on getting over substance abuse? Because
I'm not. Why would I have advice? That's not what I handle.
Because I'm trying to change the direction of all these pros of using substances.
I'm just saying I'm not the guy to ask. I'm not the substance abuse channel guy. Like I don't really have like advice on that. My only advice is seek therapy. Talk to someone that does know about those things. Seek medical professional. Like that would like the canned advice. That's all I would have. Hold on.
Because the most I can offer are conceptual things of these substances do work for you, but they are detrimental in many various aspects. Obviously, everybody knows. And I can only attest that things do get better through normal therapy and I guess just other various means of growing up and experiencing stuff. And you kind of unravel the trauma that makes you want to seek out these substances to cope otherwise. But I also don't have an anxiety disorder. I don't have agoraphobia. So I don't want to give out canned advice, obviously. You know, I'm saying obviously a lot. But I also don't, personally, I don't want to condone substances because, one, they're expensive as fuck. Jesus Christ. And two, obviously.
I'm not condoning them. Like, what the fuck? I'm just talking about.
Well, I would, again, listen to this section of the stream, and I would hear these people talking about these great things that happen when you use these substances.
Okay, guys, don't do drugs. Okay, it's bad. Okay. Like everyone knows that's why it's called substance abuse.
Yeah, but we're also streaming on a platform, and so I'm trying to be transparent, obviously, which is why I keep using the word obviously about trying to navigate this particular issue. Okay,
it sounds like you're very close to home with it. Like, I can't handle this issue outside of just telling people, don't do drugs are bad, okay? Like, that's all I can really do. Also, especially don't, if you have addiction in your family, don't be stupid ass Shadowfall and try to become an alcoholic.
Yeah, don't do what I fucking did. One, because it doesn't work. Two, because
don't say it doesn't work, because if you were somebody else, it might work. Absolutely.
Well, it didn't work for me, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, obviously.
Stop saying it. It's so annoying. Anyway.
Shut up. I'm autistic.
Yeah. Okay. Doesn't mean I can't call you annoying.
Yeah, anyway. But I'm using it as a cope, so shut up.
Okay, annoying. Anyway, Saintus, tell us about, really quick, so that we don't end on drugs are good. Tell us about some of the detriments of being addicted to kratom.
Please have some.
See, I mean, well, probably reduced pleasure response.
Oh God, and you're already schizoid. That's not good.
Oh, that's a really big one, yeah.
So it just makes anhedonia and shit even more potent, because of it, of overusing it.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
ugh. I'm just wondering if it exacerbates the negative symptoms the schizoid already has. That sounds like that's some terrible ass withdrawals, and if you don't get your fix, it's just overusing it, huh?
I used it for years without any problems.
Don't say that.
Shadow, don't say that.
Shut up. This is the part where I tell them it's bad.
You know what, dude? Every autistic person I've ever met, anytime I mention having too much to drink, or other people mention drug use of any kind, almost every autist will just roll in there and be like, yeah, but I just want to clarify, it's really bad for you and blah blah. Because the science,
I don't care.
The science is on their side.
Angst, you can do whatever you want in your free time. You're a grown ass adult, but I feel
I'm
like
not
there's a
doing anything.
responsibility
You're
of me
fine.
when I am on a platform streaming to.
Oh, you're one of those guys. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to your audience.
Responsibility to not get
You
banned.
have your responsibility to your audience. It's your
No,
fault.
I don't have a responsibility
It's my
to
fault
my
if one of my audience members, you know, does
Shut
a backflip.
I do not. Okay. I have a responsibility to not get the stream removed.
It's not going to get removed because all I did was
saying.
ask Saint about his experiences. I didn't say anything about like, hey guys, you want to get rid of your schizoid problems? Just fucking load up on all kinds of fucking shit. Like, no. I'm not that guy. I don't say that at all. So yes, if you have problems with substance abuse, call 1-800-JUNKIE.
Maybe you're right, and I am just being an overreactor.
No, you're good, man. You're just being careful. 1-800-255-JUNKIE. No, I'm just fucking around. But yeah, guys, go get help if you're already fucking with that. And I know a lot of schizoids. I know a lot of schizoids are alcoholics.
You're here because you have a personality disorder. Anyway, go get help.
No, go get help with substance abuse. If you're
no fucking
coping with
shit.
that.
Go get help.
But you know what? I can understand why there's a lot of alcoholic schizoids. Rolando Rata says in Twitch, pills will never fix your life problems. Dr. Rolando, MD. Like literally a pill did like fix my, it didn't fix my agoraphobia, but sure shit makes it go away for a while. It's pretty funny. Masochism was my drug, indigenous opioids. Beta endorphins are strong and cost a lot to achieve. Lovely though. Oh no, Trudy, don't say that. You're gonna get us in trouble. It's not lovely. It's bad. It's bad. Everyone is bad. It's bad for you. Stop it. Anyway, all right. Stream's over. Bye bye everyone. And as usual, the day is dark. Always remember, happy day.